Welcome to a new episode of EFT Changes Lives. My name's Mary Jane Sharratt. I am an EFT practitioner and trainer. And today I am incredibly delighted to welcome Lisa Frost, who has something really quite unique to talk to us about. Hello, Lisa. Great to see you.
Hi, Mary Jane. It's good to be here.
Lisa is an EFT practitioner based in the Isle of Man. And her specialism is working with animals and in particular with dogs. So we're going to hear lots about that. Lisa, first of all, can you just tell me a little bit about your EFT journey? What brought you to EFT?
So I discovered EFT. Basically, I was quite poorly, and I was working with a therapist, a nutritional therapist, and she said, "Oh, should we try this technique, this tapping technique?" And I'd heard of it, and I was at that point, I was going to try anything. I was happy to try anything.
Yeah.
And we did a session, and I felt kind of weird afterwards, and I was a bit like, "Oh, I think that might have helped." So the next session I had with it, I was like, can we try that again? I think this is something I want to know more about. We tried it again. I was like, right, this has made really had a profound effect on me. So I researched it. I had a look around. I found you. And I decided I wanted to do level one because I wanted to know more about it. I wanted to know how EFT worked. And at that point, it was really just thinking about doing it for me and
Mhm.
helping me. And so I did the level one training, and it was like something just kind of like exploded in my brain. I was like, well, hold on a minute. Surely this can help animals. And we talked about it, and it was good work animals. I thought, right, I need to explore this further. And that was when I started just with my own dogs and just trying different techniques and trying different ways of working with it. And it was just amazing. Um, I'm also a Tennyson T-touch practitioner, and I kind of mixed it in with that. And it was like the effects it was having was quite mind-blowing. And at the same time, I was also doing more EFT for me.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, this is my life now. This has to be in my life now. So yeah, it was kind of like that. It was really just a chance meeting, I guess, with EFT. And yeah, and it took over.
Fantastic. So you need to tell us more. Tell us about some of the animals you've worked with using EFT and how that's been and what's been the outcome of that.
So I've kind of done it in different ways.
Hmm.
So I've worked mainly, as I say, with my own dogs. So I have two little rescue dogs. We have Ruby and Mr. Pickle, both of who have severe anxiety issues. And I've done all sorts of work with them over the years to help them. And Ruby very much will any kind of technique that I want to try. So with the T-touch or the aromatherapy or whatever, she's like, oh yeah, I'm really, really, really into it. Mr. Pickle's a bit more guarded. He's not
Hmm.
sure. But both of them from the very start doing EFT were very much, okay, yes, no, I quite like this. This is amazing.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, Ruby will put herself in the position to have her whatever she feels like she needs. So it could be T-touch, it could be EFT. But with her, so we've used it on various things. The main one with her that was quite mind blowing was fireworks.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and
It's a
I have
massive
now,
thing, isn't it, for
yeah, I
dogs?
have. I,
Really.
I have now taught other people and working with their own dogs with fireworks. So for Ruby, she was fine. She wasn't too worried about the fireworks until we had one year when somebody let some off outside. Before I was ready, it was before that 2 week period when we're
Yeah.
normally ready. Really, really scared her, so she couldn't cope. And around here, we have it goes on for days and days and days, and then on firework night, it goes on for hours and hours and
Yeah.
hours. Um, and that first year of using EFT, I'd done all the other things that I normally do with her. We give her a quiet spot. She has her T-touch wraps, and we use aromatherapy. We use all these things. We'd done a little EFT session before, but she was really quite struggling
Mm.
after a few hours, and she was in her little house, her little hidey hole. And I was sat outside and I was chatting to her, and I was like, I just really don't know what else to do. And I couldn't do anything physically because I didn't want to touch her because she was in her box. So I just started doing a little EFT session on myself.
And yourself,
On
yeah.
myself and saying, and it was very much, I don't make it too complicated with the dogs, but I'm like, even though you're frightened of the fireworks, I still love you and everything's going to be okay. And I'm here to protect you. And she went from full on, like she was rigid
Yeah.
to relaxed, and she calmed and she went down, and she did eventually take a little nap. And then she came out a little bit, so I was able to do some work on her as well. And I have a little technique that I learned after, because I did level 3, and on people we do a little slow tap on the head,
Mhm.
and that again, that made my mind blow. I was like, hold on, dogs. They have their little third eye is kind of here.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
and so, yeah. And so with her, and I did it the first time I did it with her, I sort of did it a few times, and she literally put her head in my hand for some more. So fireworks time, when I could like get to touch her, that was the one I used for her. And yeah, it didn't obviously take it full away, but it meant that she could relax. And it also meant that, so what we do is during that 2 week period, we do decompression every day.
Yeah.
So we were doing, so the following day we did a little EFT session, and we did some other relaxation and hypnotherapy and stuff, just to bring it down. So we put it in part of her decompression, so we could bring her back down there, so that if the fireworks went off, she was down here, so it didn't,
As your starting point.
she
Yeah.
was starting from a
Brilliant.
lower point. I've also used it for vet visits.
Okay, brilliant. With
So
yours, with
vet
your
visits,
own. Mhm.
yeah, on my own. And again, from working with myself, well, with my own dogs, I can then show other people and advise other people, and we can work on it there. And that's quite a good one, because again, dogs can be quite het up at being at the vets. There's so much
Mhm.
going on. And you can just do little taps, so you're not doing a lot. And I sometimes will do it in that I do use the points on some dogs, but I might just go tap tap tap, and then tap tap tap, and then just as I'm talking, so we're just doing little taps, so
Yeah.
we're not kind of making it into a big session, but just doing little taps, and that really works. And I've even had people in the waiting room with dogs kind of going crazy, and I'm like, look, just try this, just try this little tap here, and that, and just tell them it's okay, and just
Hmm.
do that. And it's worked. Yeah, it's been amazing.
Fantastic. I was going to ask actually what the points are or where you tap on animals. Obviously, in the case of your dog, you tapped on yourself, and that
Yes.
that worked really well because I think for me as well, the connection between a pet owner and the pet is really usually very strong, isn't it? So actually, when we see our pet distress, the same as with our children, it brings up emotion in us. So by tapping on ourselves and calming ourselves down, it's obviously, the energetic field
Yeah.
between an animal and its owner is very strong. So I think that's going to have a knock-on effect. But yeah, tell us where you tap.
So I do use most of the normal people points.
Yes.
The only one I never use is this.
Okay, yeah.
I just, yeah, I'm going to say, even on my own dogs, I don't think that's going to be comfortable for them, so I wouldn't do it. So I do use top of the head as a normal tapping point, but also just slightly forward. So here, hold
Yeah.
on. Let me get Horace. Horace can come and help.
Oh, hey, Horace. We love Horace. I haven't seen him before.
So yeah, so a tap on here, and then this little point here.
It's sort of between the yeah, but I've had
Yeah,
a vet who told me to rub that actually
yeah,
on my cats.
yeah. So slow tapping on that bit is amazing.
Mhm.
We do side of the eyes. So often what I'll do as well, I've got one dog that I work with, and she absolutely loves EFT, but she likes to sit. So she'll sit and she faces me. She's a Samoyed, so when I sit on the floor, she's about the same size as me as well. So I'll tap on me, and then I'll tap on her,
Nice.
and then so we'll do it together, and
Okay.
then we'll I kind of go sort of here rather than here, so
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
slightly under again, because I'm not going around that.
Can you
Uh,
lift Horace up a little bit
yeah,
so we
yeah,
can see?
yeah.
Thank you.
So I'll kind of go here rather than here,
Yeah.
and then I'll do it
I think
together.
the
So I'll do it on
chest is
me,
quite
and
easy. They kind of like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
they tend to love. They absolutely do tend to love. And then yeah, the usual sort of kind of
Oh,
behind the
yeah, you can get
neck
that.
do.
Great.
And then the other point that some dogs don't like it, but most dogs do, is the base of the tail.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Now, dogs generally, obviously we have quite waggy tails, they hold an awful lot of tension in that area.
It's the area
So
of the spine, isn't it, for them?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, so tapping there can be really good and really, really relaxing. And again, I do it really, really light. I never kind of
No,
bang.
no, no. All should
Um,
be light. Yeah.
and we're constantly checking for body language as well. So looking for stress signs, but also signs of release as well. So stress signs can be licking, but it's also, licking your lips. But it can also be uh, just releasing that stress,
Yawning.
yawning. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly the same with
Farting.
that.
I'm
I think.
thinking
Yeah,
farting.
yes, yes.
With dogs.
And what we really want to see is a good shake off,
Ah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
stop now and again, and just stop, let them see. Maybe the dog generally will go for a little walk around the room, they'll have a really good shake,
Mm,
and 99 out of 100 they will come, and they will come back and ask for some more, and then you can do
amazing.
some more work with them. But yeah, so that's kind of my general points that
Great.
Sharratt likes. Yeah.
And do you find that they'll tell you when they've had enough, they'll just walk off? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. As I say, I'll stop repeatedly, whatever I'm doing. If I'm doing any kind of body work with a dog,
Mm,
or cat, to be fair, I will stop repeatedly and take a breath and just see
yeah.
what they want. And they'll either kind of look at you like, well, why have you stopped? Or like get up, as I say, have a walk around and
Yeah.
come back. Or they might just say, right, no, enough's enough. Need
Yeah.
to process this.
Yeah.
And sometimes even process it for a few minutes or so.
And then come
And
back.
then they'll come back and you can do a little bit more work with them.
Amazing. And I think the shaking off, that's so interesting, isn't it? Because animals obviously are so much better at doing all this stuff than us humans. And so when they have a shock or a fright or they're releasing something, if you watch any wildlife documentary, something gets chased by something else, and then it might play dead for a while until the predator wanders off, and then they'll get up and they'll shake and they'll just release it. And then they literally just trot off and join their herd and they're fine. They just shift it like that. We just trap it all inside and hold on to it for decades. And then it
Yes.
comes out, maybe, we hope, sometime later. Brilliant. Can you tell us some more amazing examples of how you've worked with animals and
Uh,
experience?
More amazing. So one that really, really sticks out in my mind, is there was a dog, so multi-dog household, and one of the dogs, sadly, he had cancer. It was quite aggressive, and he was put to sleep. So I did palliative care with him, and kind of did focus on him a little bit and not the other dogs in the house whilst we were going through that.
Mm,
After that, one of the other dogs in the house, she went very down. She went very, very sad. She went from being quite young, and she went from being really playful, to just sad. She
yeah.
just didn't want to play. She wasn't
Really
really.
feel grief, don't they? They
It
can
was
feel
it
loss.
was really heartbreaking to see. And so I worked with her, and we kind of like we got her a little bit happier. She was going on walks and she was a bit happy, but she still wasn't playing, and she just wasn't herself.
Mm,
So I kind of thought, right, okay, I'm just going to do a full, forget everything else, forget the other dogs, and just focus on her and do a full it's okay session.
hmm.
And we actually worked on, even though you're really, really sad and you miss your brother desperately, it's okay to play.
Hmm.
And that your mum loves you and it's okay to play, and nobody's going to be angry at you if you play. It's okay to play. It took it was a good sort of 20-minute session of doing it, and then tapping on the toy and tapping
Hmm.
on me, tapping on her, just generally kind of like, this is a good thing, playing is good, and got it to the point where by the end of the session she was actually playing with mum, because obviously mum was very sad as well,
Yeah,
and was saying, oh, I'm really worried about her, but she obviously wasn't instigating play with the dogs either, because the
yeah,
whole house was sad.
yeah.
So we did actually get it to the point where the pair of them, they were actually playing, and then the other dog joined in, and I was like, okay, don't cry, it's really nice. And yeah, so it was quite amazing to see that, because it was just a little bit of an experiment,
Hmm.
because I had no clue if that was going to
Oh,
work,
absolutely.
because I know it's calming,
Hmm.
and I know it can help us work through things, but I just didn't. I just thought, well, you know what, it's got to be worth a try. And she was so receptive to EFT anyway, so I thought, I've got to give it a try. And it did, and she did, and she played. And now if she has any, like, she's just been through, so I see it's one of my regular clients, and I go and just do session with them. There's three dogs again now, but I just do a session with all three and see whatever they want. And she struggles quite a lot with her season. She's just had a season. So we do some EFT and we do some calming. And she's just like, oh yeah, this is the person who comes and makes me feel better. And I'm like,
Nice. Oh,
yeah.
so she loves it when Lisa comes.
Yes.
How amazing. And it's also, I don't know if this is something you've worked with, certainly something I've done quite a bit, is working with humans after where they haven't been well since they lost a pet as well. Is that something you've done as well? Or you probably,
I
like in that example, sort of
yeah.
by the dog. Yeah.
So I kind of tend to do it via the dog. So the people that I don't think realize that they're actually doing EFT and doing the work, because I teach them, like, if you've got a dog that's reactive when you're out on a walk. So yeah, well, yeah, let's do hold your 9 gamut point. If you can't do anything else, let's tap your fingers and just,
Mhm.
it's okay, everything's okay. And they think they're doing it for the dog, which
Yeah.
they are, but they're also, and it just calms the whole situation down, and it just makes everybody feel a lot better. So I do it like that. And I think, yeah, from that situation where we've had sort of grief in the house, it was everybody was
Mhm.
calmer, and everybody felt they weren't happy. I mean, they miss him desperately still, but they were all coping, and they were all banding together a little bit as well, which I think was better, because I think when you lose an animal, it's so sad, it's so all encompassing for you, and the grief is so strong
Mm.
that it can have a terrible effect on the other animals in the house as well, who've got their own grief. They've not got their mom or their dad, who is the one who cares for them and does it and makes everything okay.
Yeah.
So by working, with the whole house, I think that really, really helped. And as I say, I still go there every couple of weeks, so I guess
Yeah.
it really helped.
And I love that because it's kind of a sneaky way to get EFT into a family, isn't it? People will do anything for their animals. Yeah, they don't care how weird or wacky it is, as long as the dog or the cat feels better.
It is. There's so
So
many
yeah,
people out
it's
there now who
brilliant.
are just like going, oh, I'm just, there's a dog coming. Oh, there's a person coming. Okay, we'll just do this.
Yeah.
And it's little things, so they can do little taps as well on the dog, and they
Mhm.
don't feel silly,
Yeah.
because who's going to see them doing this, and who's going to see them doing the little taps on the dog? So yeah, I think walking is a thing that's really, really helped on with sort of reactive walks and stuff like that.
Yeah, brilliant. And I think you're right, that because EFT is so easy to teach people to use themselves, even if it's just, as you say, on the finger points, on the hands whilst they're walking, really nice way of expanding knowledge of it. And is that your hope? Where do you want to take this, Lisa? Where would you like to see EFT and animals in the future?
I honestly think everybody who has a pet should do some kind of relaxation with them
Hmm.
every day. I think we promote mindfulness for people,
Yeah.
and it's really great, and we need to think about our mental health. But we live in this world, and we bring our pets into this world with us, and there
Hmm.
is so much stress, and as you say, they do feel it.
Hmm.
And so really what I would love is for everybody to find something that makes them comfortable. EFT is amazing because as you say, it's so easy.
Hmm.
And just do little sessions every day
Yeah.
with the pets. And whether that is just, everything's okay. You don't need to worry about like the postman coming, or you don't need to worry, about that dog that's walking past outside, or you don't need to worry on walks. Even if you've got really, really happy dogs,
Hmm.
it's still nice to just have that. And it's such a bonding exercise
I
as
was
well.
just
So
thinking that, yeah, it must really create a lovely bond between the owner and the
it
what you
is. And
don't
it
call them
helps
owners,
out.
do you? What
Yeah.
do you call them? They're
The
human
guardians.
guardian.
They're
Yeah.
guardians. Yeah.
Guardian and the pet. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's fantastic, isn't it, as well? So, Lisa, if people want to contact you, I think, are you working only in person currently?
Well, at the moment I am, but I'm organizing as we speak. I'm going to be working with another T-touch practitioner, and we're going to be starting doing workshops
Brilliant.
online, which is going to be all about relaxation and calmness. And there's going to be all sorts of T-touch, EFT. We're going to do a little bit of yoga nidra for dogs, and
Yoga nidra for dogs, I love it. Think of your right paw. Yeah, I love
literally that is exactly how it came about. So yeah, so we're going to be doing all of that sort of thing. So that's coming later on in the year. We're just working on the best way to kind of get that to people at the moment. So there will be some online stuff as well.
That's brilliant. So unless you're on the Isle of Man, it's going to be quite challenging to work with Lisa, but her online course will be coming soon. So all your contact details and links are below, so people can get in touch with you and maybe register for that course ahead of time, because I think
Yeah, and I'm happy to answer questions and stuff as well if people, want to know a bit more about working with the animals and stuff. I'm
great.
always happy to answer questions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing a little bit of your experiences. I know you've worked with lots of animals and some random ones as well, haven't you? I think a raccoon was.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I did some training recently, and there was raccoons, and there was lemurs, and there was ferrets. I was in a thing full of ferrets. It was amazing. So
Amazing. But there's no reason why EFT can't be useful for all the animal kingdom as well as
absolutely, as if you're working on yourself as well, even any animal that you're in a room with, in rescue centers, etc., you could do some EFT work and just to bring that energy down.
brilliant. And it's made me really set myself an intention to tap with my cats every day. Because one's easier because she just comes and lies on me, but the other one's a bit more aloof. So it's kind of, have to make the effort to go and find her and tap on her. So I'm going to do that.
Yes.
So thank you for that reminder, Lisa. And it's been great to have you here and yeah, sharing your experiences. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.